Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
All right. What is going on, faithful? It is absolutely incredible to be with you guys. It's Sunday. You guys know me. Whenever it's Sunday, that means we need to talk some football. And it is Father's Day. It's a special Sunday. So I do want to say props to all the dads out there that are working their tail ends off, trying to do what they can for their family and their kiddos. I want to say props to all the single moms out there. You guys are freaking unreal. And so you got to play both jobs. That's awesome. I know with holidays like this, we're going to be talking 49ers, definitely for sure. But, with holidays like this, they're not always happy for everybody. There's rough memories and loss and things like that tied to these things. And so for those of you that get to celebrate and enjoy those things, man, congratulations. That is incredible. But if you know people in your life that perhaps don't have a father figure or have lost one, please take the time to reach out, because they're not always holidays are rough for some people. It took us a long time, as foster adopted parents, to figure those things out, that, Mother's Day and Father's Days aren't always a good thing. Yeah, I understand I'm a new father figure and all those things. But anyway, take that for what you will. Now, what we're going to be doing today, and I'm kind of excited about this, and we kind of got this whole title and or show idea from a Kyle Juszczyk clip that we're going to share from you. What is the 49ers kind of vibe? Where are the 49ers heading into the offseason? Because there's a clear bifurcation in the parts of the offseason. You have OTAs, you have minicamp. We're in the dead period. You had George Kittle buying Mustangs and showing that off, and people dispersed. This is kind of the lone time where people are away and not really in contact with each other. Yeah, workouts still take place and things like that, but people are out there. And so anyway, let's jump into, there's a couple topics I want to get to. I want you to hear today from two different 49ers, maybe three. I want you to hear from Samson Ebukam, who I think is somebody we really need to talk about, and also Kyle Juszczyk, who is such a freaking leader of this team in so many ways. Love this dude. And so let's bookend this by exactly what let's allow Kyle Juszczyk to speak for himself on where are the 49ers now and how do they feel after OTAs and minicamp.
Good vibe having some of the guys that haven't been around be back in the buildings. Great to see Debo and Trent and Bosa. So that definitely pepped everybody up, had us in high spirits the first couple days. But just feel like things have been going well. I feel like we've been having some good, solid practices out there, getting better, and just I'd say vibes are high right now.
Man, vibes are high right now. Kyle Juszczyk comes in, and you got to understand what this means whenever he says, we've been having good practice, but it's great to have Debo, Trent, and Bosa come in, because they've been everybody's been practicing, and those guys are a little bit built different. Imagine like practicing and having all these positive vibes. Then you have not one, not two, but three All-Pros start to show up at your practices. It's going to set the tone a little bit, guys. It really, really is, because whenever you bring in all those guys, stuff's about to change. And whether they're out there taking reps or not, it doesn't matter. If you're a wide receiver, a young wide receiver, undrafted free agent wide receiver out there competing for a roster spot, and you look over and see number 19 out there, it changes things. If you're one of the young tackles, you look over and see Silverback on the sideline, that changes. I mean, it's Bosa. Good gosh, Bosa. Dude's going to break the bank. He's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback ever here in 1 year's time. But yeah, it's like a family reunion. I love it, Big Papa. I think you nailed it. You bring these things together. Now, you look at, okay, where have these 49ers teams been in the past few years with John and Kyle here? Depth and health. That's what is the difference? between this 2022 49ers and the past teams: depth and health. Now, obviously, football is a 100% injured sport. Everybody gets hurt. And so a lot of guys play through it. Sometimes you can't. Difference between injured and hurt. As a coach, I always used to go through that. All right, before we start our first practice, understand everybody's going to get bumps and bruises. Everybody's going to get aches and pains. There's a difference between injured and hurt. Hurt, you play through. Injured, you're going to be a detriment to your team. You need to sit out. Okay. It's hard to go versus I can't go. If it's hard to go, guess what? It's time to become a man. That's what we would always say. Our job is to turn you from boys to men. Shout out to the rap R&B group, but that's the idea. You came in a boy, you're leaving a man. What is a man? Somebody that when things get hard, back to Father's Day, when things get hard, you don't turn and run. You don't quit. And, I would always give this speech. We all know, and we all got somebody that's walked out on us because things got hard. Don't be that person. How do we grow into being that person? You show it to your team right now. Things are going to get hard. We're going to be down. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have all these things. Don't be the guy that quits. Fight through it. Holy cow, man. Thank you so much for the gift, Derek. Awesome super chat, man. Thank you so much. Very generous. He says, thanks, John, for all your content. Man, thank you for consuming the content and for creating a place and an audience for people that want this. Real quick, let's jump back a little bit. Shout out to the Warriors for winning their championship. I'm not a Warriors guy. I'm a Dallas Mavericks guy, born and raised in Dallas, Fort Worth area. And, I became 49ers fan, again, back to Father's Day, because I had a terrible stepdad. And so he pissed me off all the time. I couldn't stand him. Didn't like the way he treated my mom. So I couldn't stand anything he was about. He was a Cowboys fan. So that's how I became, a 49ers guy. He didn't care about basketball. So I stuck with, the Mavericks that were their local team growing up. But the whole idea, let's do this. Draymond Green gets up there after the speech and talked about what it means for him and his podcast and all these things about how, when the sport, and he was talking about basketball, and I'm paraphrasing here. I want to butcher this. I probably should have prepared the clip, but when the sport and you want to educate and enter into community and enhance people's experience, there is so much content. You don't have a problem creating content because you love the game, you love the sport, and you want to give that to other people that are out there. I think we had 5 videos up on YouTube yesterday. 5. It's July, or it's not even July, it's June. It's easy to create content whenever you love this so much and you have people that are going to enjoy it with you. He goes on to talk about how, man, sometimes, people that don't know the sport or didn't play the sport or didn't engage in the sport and don't know it, they have to create narratives and drama and things like that. And it was so refreshing to hear somebody talk about that. It's just like, golly, whenever I tell people, just said goodbye to my teaching gig last week, cleaned out my classroom, all those things. And everybody was like, oh, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, I'm doing this thing for the 49ers. And they always, every conversation was the same. I had it like 20 times in a row. What are you going to do for the 49ers? I was like, oh, I make this content and I put it out on YouTube and podcast form and all this stuff. And they're like, well, what do you talk about besides 49ers? I was like, just 49ers. They're like, do you just do it like once a week? And I was like, no, like several times a day. How do you find stuff to talk about? That's not an issue. I've never been limited by, man, I don't know what I want to talk about now. That's not it at all. One of that is because of people like you, Derek. And I just want to say thanks again, man. People email me and say, hey, it'd be cool if you do this. Hey, it'd be cool if you do this. There's not enough of us. We're assembling quite the good team. Juan Solis, who you guys all know about, Anthony and Josh, who are killing it. If you haven't checked out our 90-person series where we're going through as deep a dive on all 90 players currently on the 49ers roster, there's so much content. I recorded 8 of those bad boys yesterday, and I didn't want to stop, but I had to go spend some family time. There's so much out there. So thank you, Derek. Thank you for the positivity. Thank you, everybody that's here now. There's just a lot there. There's just a lot to cover because you love the team so much. You love the sport so much, and you want to give to it so that other people. I remember being a kid, and I used to watch SportsCenter back to back to back. I'd watch it 3 times in a row at night, and I would wait so long And I know what the show was after I watched it the first time. For a 2-minute clip of the 49ers, I would watch another hour and a half just so I could see it again. We don't live in that world anymore. And I want to take part in making sure that people who are in love with sports, because sports was my safe haven. Sports was my escape whenever I was young. Didn't have the best childhood growing up. Didn't have a bad, I mean, it wasn't awful. I'm not trying to do that stuff, but sports, if I was having a bad day, if it was bad at home, man, sports, it was, oh my gosh, that was my safe haven. That's what got me out of where I was from. Not many people I knew got out. I got out. I got lucky. Sports was my way out. So I want to return that. 49ers faithful forever. Oh, what's up? Speaking of, man, appreciate you, Josh. He says, love the player profiles. Nobody does this like you. Community, baby. Community. Yeah, true content is a blast. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Big Papa. So let's get back to our content. Depth and health, right? These are the things that separate the 2022 49ers from the previous ones. And let me say this, separates the 49ers from the NFC West. That is the difference. The term depth does not apply to the Seattle Seahawks. They already have starters. Doesn't apply to the Rams. They have a lot of stars, no depth. And it, maybe a little bit more to the Arizona Cardinals. I think that they might have a little bit better roster top to bottom, but even them, their depth's gone, right? Whenever DeAndre Hopkins went out last year, everything just stalled. When JJ Watt got hurt, stalled. And so, there's great teams in the NFC West. I'm not trying to, throw shade on all of them, but you have to look at what sets the 49ers apart. Depth and health. Will that maintain? I don't know. Now, a couple of guys that I think are very, very important, and a lot of this season will depend upon, is Mike McGlinchey and Javon Kinlaw. Now, that's where the health is a concern, right? Now, stop me if you heard this before. I usually buy into what the front office says, and I've said this lots of times, and what you guys take for this what you will. I believe them on a lot of things. Usually injury updates, I do not. I think, I want to see it first. I've heard all these before. Ahead of schedule, looking great. Expect to have them back by camp. I mean, you could just copy and paste those. They don't always play out, and they haven't. So, whatever. People always talk to me like, oh, you're not critical of the team and all these things. I am critical, but you have to provide content for why you are critical of certain areas. And the reason, the way that you do that is by looking backwards to understand going forward. The track record of them saying we'll be ready by camp is not good. The track record of them saying, oh, yeah, we're happy with what we have in certain areas, that is accurate, because when they've said that, they've displayed that by the roster moves or lack of roster moves. For example, Jaquiski Tartt, congratulations. I'm so freaking happy for that dude. Signed with the Philadelphia Eagles on a 1-year deal. And, man, great fit. I actually like the Eagles considerably. I really, really do. There's a lot of players there that I'm a big fan of, including Tartt. And I think he landed in a good spot. And the NFL is better with Tartt playing, whether that's for the 49ers or not. We've been telling you all offseason, Hufunga's going to be starting, guys. He's going to get that job. And everybody's like, no, they're going to draft a safety. I was like, I don't think they are. They haven't drafted any safeties ever, really, besides Hufunga. I don't think they're going to mess with that. They drafted Charvarius Ward, but then they moved him to corner for 2 years. And then they put him back at safety, and he was a backup role at that. Hufunga's going to be the guy. And everybody's like, oh, they'll bring back Tartt after the draft. It didn't do it. Not saying I'm happy they didn't bring him back, but you have to look at what the roster moves they made. Whenever they brought in Odom and paid him that money, that was Tartt's money. So they chose Odom, a depth safety play and top-tier special teamer, over bringing Tartt back because they're comfortable with Hufanga. Is that the right play? Now, that's a different conversation. And there's a lot of 49ers content creators that are going to be here and tell you Hufunga's not good, he can't cover, and all those things. And those guys have their reasons for believing that. Was Hufanga perfect last year? No. But I like where things are going. Him and Jimmy Ward, we'll have to see. They could have missed it. They could have completely missed it there. And what only time will tell. So again, there's a difference between understanding why John and Kyle operate the way they do within their roster, and being critical. You got to understand why they're doing that. Now, I am critical of their injury updates in the offseason. That I'm critical of. Will Mike McGlinchey and Javon Kinlaw be ready? Man, I have a lot more faith in Javon Kinlaw just because of the type of operation he had and the timing of his operation. I have a lot less faith in Mike McGlinchey just because, again, that quad has a quad tear. That's a different type of injury than just a knee cleanup and, ACL with more time to spare. So we'll have to see there. Both look good. Both seem, quote unquote, ahead of schedule. But that's one of the things that I want to try to, I want to pump my brakes just a little bit. I I love the Palpatine. Do it. The Star Wars driver. Thank you, Shot J. Hit the like button, you heathen, says Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate you as always, man. Yeah, I love it. No way, man. I'm growing the facial hair. It's off season for me. My wife was out of town for like a week. I'm keeping it. I'm joking. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been a bum. It's been nice not going into work and all that stuff. Yeah, I love this comment right here. Better the rearview mirror gives us a pretty clear picture of how Shanahan has built the depth over the years. Thank you, Big Papa. Well said, man. You got to pay attention. Anyway, so let's go on to the big question marks, because in the salary cap era, no team is without question marks. You have to pick and choose. And again, there's so many different team building methods and whatever. You have the Saints, who are just crazy with draft picks and salary cap. They're always push the chips in now. That's just kind of who they are. Even when they change coaches, trade up, pass, you're giving up first round picks in the future in a bad, quote unquote, bad draft for an offensive tackle and a wide receiver. They got a good offensive tackle, and wide receiver, but yikes. You look at what's coming next year, and are the Saints a player away? They think they are. There's different mindsets. You have the Rams, who just literally F them picks. You have their head coach saying that, but whenever you have so many top tier stars, it kind of makes sense. They've got 3 to 4 years. Can they get another ring? That's what they're going after. And then you have teams that just don't really care, and they're just always just kind of, level playing field, whether that's the Vikings or whatever. The 49ers, they have their question marks as well. And they believe that they target premium positions, and then they allow the lesser, quote unquote, lesser position values to kind of sort themselves out. Safety, they don't value. Guards, don't really value. And that's where the biggest question marks come from. In my opinion, it's the interior offensive line. Guard, center, guard. There's 3 of them. That's rough. Now, the good news, okay, they have attacked these positions with depth, not money. There's no money invested at all. All of these guys on the roster are cheap. All of them are on rookie or restricted free agent deals. Whatever. Now, they got a lot of guys that they have developed or whatever else, but who's going to pan out? Okay. Now, left guard, and, I'll get a clip here to kind of break this up a little bit. Trent Williams was asked about Aaron Banks and if he's a different player this year versus last year. And then we're going to spend more time on center and right guard, because those seem to be the bigger question marks. It does seem to be that Aaron Banks is the starting left guard. Here's what Trent Williams had to say about him.
He's transformed himself, in a few months. And to me, that's indicative of a lot, not just a good diet and a good workout regimen, but it's mental toughness for a guy to be able to go in and change his whole body composition in, 90 days, so to speak. So Banks, his athleticism has always jumped off the board to be the size of a man that he is. But now, shedding 20 pounds, he definitely looks light on his feet, footwork looks 10 times better. His balance, his upper body lean, everything is in place now. And I think he's ready to take that big jump from year 1 to year 2.
Strong words. And, Trent's a very positive guy, and he's a vet. He's been around these guys, these Sades and these press conferences. He knows what to say. But, hey, man, you take any positives you can get on Aaron Banks. You couldn't get any last year. Everybody bring up Aaron Banks, and it was just like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Plead the fifth, right? Now you've got people saying positive things. And, yeah, Banks does look good. He looks better. That's exciting. That's awesome. So if we do assume he's going to be the left guard, all right, let's talk about the center and the right guard. Daniel Brunskill's going to be one. We know that. Whether he's the right guard or the center, that's up to Jake Brendel. So I want to go through just really, really quickly. Oh, I like this idea. Uh-oh. Faithful from birth. We need a countdown ticker on the screen until the first game. I like that idea. I need to figure out how to do that on the side. I'm using, StreamYard for my live shows. But yes, you are correct on that. I love that idea. I'm going to spend some time on that. So email me. Let's figure that out. Great. I want to pause that one. You guys, little peek behind the curtain. I got to figure these things out. This is how we come up with all content on 49ers Rush Podcast. Somebody emails me or gives me a comment or DMs me, hey, you should do this. This is exactly John Chapman's thought process. I don't know how the hell to do that. Every single time. Every time. I don't know how to do that. Well, guess what? I'll figure it out. That means the rest of the day, I will be, not today. I'm going to spend time with the family. We're going to go see Maverick Top Gun, which would be fun together. But it'll be YouTube videos and, dark, deep webs, figuring stuff out because I'm terrible at technology. I'm good at football. I think I'm pretty good at people, but I'm not good at technology. I'm really, really bad at it, actually. Anyway, so, yeah, we'll get that going. Now, all right, let's see here. Back to the centers. Listen to these people because I think it's important. They want Jake Brendel to be it. They're selling that hardcore. But if it's not Jake Brendel, again, Jake Brendel, he's freaking as low a deal as you could possibly have as a free agent. You brought him over. Dan Brunskill, still restricted free agent status. Keaton Sutherland, right? Somebody that a lot of people don't know about. He was getting all the works with the twos through minicamp. We're going to be detailing him, where I think I just recorded. We posted 75 today. I've recorded through 70. The top, we started at 90. And the whole premise of our 90 player profile series is who's going to have the biggest impact on 2022 just this year, right? So we've done 90 through 70. 75 has been posted. There's four more coming out that we've already recorded. Keaton Sutherland's pretty high. And a lot of people, I would argue, nobody's talking about this guy. A lot of people don't even know who he is. We're going to tell you everything you ever need to know about him in our series as we keep going. But that's somebody that's not getting mentioned or talked about, in 49ers Twitter sphere or other podcasts. I know those podcasts are talking about, but that dude is, everybody wants to talk about Donovan West and Jason Poe, and I love those guys. I don't think that they have any chance at earning the starting spot or, 53-man roster. I don't think there's any chance for either one of those two guys. Keaton Sutherland, I think he has a legit chance. So anyway, take that for what you want. Spencer Burford, they talked about him getting snaps. Nick Zakill, they talked about him getting snaps. So you've got 2, 4, 6, you got 7 guys that are fighting for that center job. That's a lot of centers. That's a whole lot. How many are going to pan out? I don't know, man. We'll have to see here. And so a lot of guys, and again, it's funny if you look at all the drafts of all these guys when they drafted them or brought them in. Dan Brunskill, he was a tackle when they brought him in from the AFF or AAF. I don't remember, but he was a tackle. Spencer Burford was a tackle. Nick Zakill was a tackle. Jason Poe was a guard. And so they've got all these guys on there that, they've kind of moved out. Anyway, here we go. We're 40 days from training camp. Gosh, man, that is exciting. That means I've got to get 70 more player profiles done in 40 days. Oh, I could do it. We could do it as a team. Again, Josh freaking Anthony. Love those dudes, man. Love those dudes. I don't even want to put this up there, Tommy. That is a violent behavior. I'm gonna preface it a little differently. Shout out to one of the greatest movies of all time, American History X. But how confident are you in beating the Bears? Extremely. I will say this. The best game of Justin Fields' entire NFL career, short 1 year, was against the 49ers. That dude flashed. And that was the turning point of the 49ers season completely because Jimmy Garoppolo was so bad. I don't think we had one first down in the first, I think it was 6 possessions. We didn't have 1 first down. I was in the stands tweeting, all right, Jimmy G experience done. Let's move on. I was wrong. Then he threw the 82-yard screen to Debo, took it down, got tackled at the 1. That was the turning point of the whole season. I think the 49ers are going to win that game. We're going to be there, baby. 49ersrushroadtrip.com. So excited, man. We're going to be tailgating the morning before the game, right on Lake Michigan in between the stadium next to the aquarium. So excited about that. We've got the huge party at the Niners bar. Oh my gosh, man. If you are anywhere close to Chicago, that is going to be a killer weekend. So excited. We're going to get some Illuminatis. Whew. Going to go to a jazz club. Got to when you're in Chicago. I'm a jazz guy. You make fun of me for that later. It's going to be a good time. Anyway. What's up, Dustin? He says, love the work. Just started my own podcast on Facebook. Would love some tips and pointers if you have any. Yeah, man. Oh, I got you, bro. Hit me up. Hit me up on the DMs. Twitter's probably the best place to do that, at JL_Chapman. We're on Facebook, but I'm not as active on there. I kind of have to pick and choose where I'm most active, or you can email me, 49ersrushpodcast@gmail.com. I think I've helped like 40 plus people start podcasts and/or shows. Some of them still going, but I've made a lot of mistakes. So let me save you some time, man. Reach out. All right. I love this. Zach says, Jason Poe at center. He's an athlete. I love it too. He's only played right guard pretty much his entire career. He did play some center early on, but before he transferred 3 times. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like it long term. He's a little stiff and he's a waist bender, not a knee bender. That's a problem. I don't think he's ready for pass pro yet. The athleticism is there. He needs to be seasoned. That's why I think I had him ranked 75 out of my 90 for this year. I can't really find a way for Poe to be a part of it this year. He's a developmental guy. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's freaking incredible, but that's just the way that I see it now. So center, there's lots of question marks there, but there's a lot of guys. Guard, the right guard spot, again, okay, if it's Daniel Brunskill, cool. Aaron Banks at left guard, cool. Then you got to hope one of those other guys pan out at center. If you move Brunskill in, Jalen Moore is probably going to be that guy. Spencer Verford, Nick Sakil, Colton McKivitz, who can play guard and tackle, Jason Poe, a lot of guys. So if one guy doesn't make it, number 2, let's see how that goes. And you just got to see. You got to see. We got some jazz. Tommy says jazz is the best music in the world. Check him out. He's holding a guitar in his avatar picture. So I feel like Tommy's got the credibility to make that statement. There's no doubt about that. Now, shifting from biggest question marks on offense to, again, reasons why the vibe, quote unquote, is so good. There's so many high upside new additions to the starting lineup. So much. Talk Trey Lance. Okay. Jimmy Garoppolo, I love him. I'm so thankful for what he's done for this team and this community and put us back on the right track. That's incredible. But there's a big difference. There's a reason why the 49ers traded up to go get him. More explosives. Listen to this. I did some work, do it a little bit for Fantasy Points, which I don't know if you listen to them or not, but they put out some great content. And so started doing some research early this morning and doing a segment for them. Listen to this. This is what I found out and just got out the calculators and started typing a bunch of numbers. The 49ers averaged 6.3 yards per play throughout the entire season. That was their average for the year. When Trey Lance, the 10 quarters he played, 7.76 yards per play. That's 1.4 yards more per play. That's an 18% increase. Explosives. That's one of the things, yards per play, which is a huge metric that Shanahan follows to measure his own quarterback, his own offense's, efficiency. That's a big thing. An extra yard, 1.4 yards. Now, I understand you played the Texans. There's a lot more to it than just one player coming in and out. I get all those things. But still, think about how bad Trey Lance started out, both halves, against, Arizona and against the Texans, and still averaged 1.4 yards more per play. That adds up a lot. That's an extra 70 yards, 70 plays, 60 plays per game. You do the math. That's a lot more efficiency, more explosives. Drake Jackson, holy cow. Listen to Samson Ebukam, who I really, really like, and I think the 49ers really, really like too. whenever he was asked about Drake Jackson. Listen to him.
Damn. He's good. He's good. He's going to be a key factor in this defense. Because I've been seeing him run all the drills, and I'm just like, man, he's athletic, he's big, he's got young legs, so he's able to just keep going all day. And me seeing him doing that, I'm just like, oh yeah, I got somebody that could push me. So he's pushing me. He's gonna push others as well. So that room in general is just like, it's so close knit, and we're able to push each other every day just to get better.
You love to hear those things. Iron sharpens iron, right? One of the axioms that is in football competition. Guess what, Samson? He's going to start. Samson's going to start. But he's got people pushing him. A lot of people pushing him. And Drake, like he said, damn, that's how good he is. So much high upside here. Oh, what's up, Phil? Got to give him. Trey is on the right track. Man, I love Phil. He knows what he's talking about. Get used to it, people. This is what the season's going to be like. Going to be fun to watch straight. Man, thank you, Phil. Gosh. If you're not excited about this year as a 49ers fan, what is wrong with you? I'm not trying to be mean. I got a big smile on my face. This is what sports fans want. You have a highly capable and competitive team that was just in the NFC Championship, and now you're making the switch to a young 22-year-old quarterback with insane upside. Whew! Man, I'm pumped. Happy Father's Day. That's your gift, everybody. Some Trey Lance upside. So excited. And it's not just him. It's not just Drake Jackson, which he's going to be fun at all. Charvarius Ward, holy cow, $13.5 million corner you bring over. If for no other reason, I love Charvarius Ward just because he's been in 2 press conferences, and holy freaking cow, nonstop zingers. This dude is raw and just says what he thinks. I need to find his people, and I need to get him on the show because I like him too much. He's probably going to make fun of me, and that's okay. The roast of John Chapman, that should be an entire segment. Anyway, Talanoa Hufanga, we started talking about love Tart. Gosh, man, I love Tart. I don't know why I keep finding 2 of my closest friends are both Eagles fans, which lets you know I'm not very good at picking friends. But we talk football a lot. One of them is my old coaching buddy Chris. If you came out to the Philly game, and the other one's Charles Barr, who I wouldn't have started this podcast if it wasn't without him. Both Eagles fans, which is crazy. Both grew up in Texas. Both Eagles fans. I think I am attracted to people that hate the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's the thing. I never knew this. There's a Venn diagram somewhere of John Chapman and people who hate the Dallas Cowboys. We are besties. It's just the way it's going to go. Right here, Zach, he says, for all the criticism that the Niners get for bad draft picks, we have certainly nailed some. Yeah, examples. Warner, Kittle, Bosa, Lance. You could go on and on. And that's the thing. All right, back to where we kind of started. I think this would kind of end our conversation for today. When people understand the game, it's very easy to create content, right? These are the words of Draymond, not me. I'm using his words. When people don't understand the game, that's where narratives and drama come from. And that's the thing, Zach. There is not one team in the entire NFL that doesn't have a lot of misses. And the 49ers have their very large share of misses. And I'm not trying to say we give them passes on that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you believe that this front office struggles in the draft, you have not been paying attention. Literally, John Lynch won Executive of the Year 2 years ago. And you look at you have 4 all-pro players on your team currently. Not very many teams can say that. There's only 22 all-pro players. There's 32 teams. You have 4 out of 22. That's 1/5. You have 1/5, a little bit less, 1/5 of all pro players on your roster currently. Golly, man. I mean, Trent Williams, right? George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Debo. Oh, Fred Warner, 5. I'm sorry. I did a disservice. 5 out of 22 all pro players. Now, did all of them make all-pro status last year? No. Am I kind of swinging things a little bit? These are guys who have been all-pro players the past 3 years. Yeah, sure, you could poke holes in that, but good gosh. And again, 4 of those were in the draft, right? Fred Warner you drafted, Kittle you drafted, Debo you drafted. Who am I missing? I messed up somewhere. What's it called? Oh, the best Bosa you drafted. You traded for Trent Williams, but guess what? You had to organize that trade. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Anyway, I love it, John. Leon O'Neal making this team book it. I would love for that to be the case. And if you've been following Leon O'Neal, he is coming for it. That dude, no holds barred. He wants it bad. The safety room's deep. I don't know if they're going to keep 4 safeties. He might have to beat out. If he wants to make the roster, he's got to surpass Charvarius Ward. That's not an easy feat. I don't know how healthy Charvarius is. They said he's healthy, but again, that's one of the areas I don't buy what they say. I like Leon O'Neal. Being undrafted hurts, but the 49ers like him too. They had 2 meetings with him. So I would love for him to be there. I would love for him to be there. But yeah, we'll see there. Jacob, what's up for real? We have so much to be excited about 49ers fan. He gets it. This is the beginning of a beautiful relationship between Kyle and Trey. Trey Lance is 22 years old. Second youngest quarterback in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan, I think it's just over 40. I'm not sure his exact age, but he's one of the younger quarterbacks in the NFL. So let's go back to it. Back to where we started. What is the vibe, right? Where are the 49ers heading into the offseason? I don't know about you. I don't think it could be much better. I really don't. Doesn't mean I think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. No, that's what I'm saying at all. You got to have so many things go your way. You can't really decide that in January. Go back to 2020 season, right? We remember that. Oh, we're going to win it all. Yeah, psych, week 2. Nope. All you can do is put yourself in positions to constantly be in contention for the division and then make a push in the playoffs. The 49ers have done that this offseason. Things could go terribly wrong. I don't think that they will because of the health and the depth that they have, procured and deposited and cultivated. But man, the vibe's good. The vibe is really, really good. We got a lot of content coming out this week. I'm excited. We've got, the John Wayne shows coming back Tuesday. We've got, some guests on. We're going to be doing a fun all NFC West defensive breakdown on Thursday with Brian. I'm going to be doing more live shows. This is actually the first week of my life that I am not a teacher. And so content's coming, guys. I hope you're ready. And I really do appreciate all that you guys have brought. All that the energy that you guys do. Y'all are awesome. And I freaking love it. Love this community. Love this team. Love this season. It's going to be fun, baby. Buckle up. And until next time, stay strong, faithful.